And I think to the degree that people don't have values, the value of human life, the value of treating others with the same respect you would want, these values, which are Jewish values, are missing from the world. So Rabbi Boteach's vision of bringing Jewish values to the world to try to heal the world, Tikkun Olam, is a very important vision.
I love the idea of bringing together people who are like-minded, who share Jewish values, even though they come from tribes other than the Jewish tribes. And it's a wonderful reminder that we're all connected. Whether you're a monotheistic background individual or you're not, it doesn't matter. If you believe that there's more to it than you, and you believe there's a spiritual entity that guides us all, and that we have to rely on in our times of need, you ought to be here. And I look around and I see wonderful people who feel just like that and are willing to do more to make it easier for others to feel the same way.
Good evening. Honored guests, donors, sponsors, and invited dignitaries, I would like to welcome you to the inaugural Champions of Jewish Values Gala.
Why? Why did you hate being Jewish? You don't even know what it is. And my friends, he looked at me and he said to me, I'm a historian. And I have read about how the Greeks philosophized and how the Romans ruled, how the Mongol hordes conquered, and how the Jews died. And knowing that I would never see this student again, I had but a moment to make an impact on his life, and indeed I never did see him again. And I looked him in the eye and I said to him, you're right. You read how the Greeks philosophized. You learned how the Romans ruled. You studied how the Mongols conquered. But when it came to meeting a Jew, you picked up the damn phone, because I'm still here. Ours is not a story of victimhood. Ours is a story not of survival. We have flourished and prospered as a people. Am Yisrael Chai. And that's why we're here tonight, to celebrate the values that we as a people have used to electrify the world.
Demonstrating to young Jews the enduring wisdom and global influence of the Jewish people, it becomes possible to create an identity of pride. So let's look at the organizations that are pioneering this global effort. Thank you.
This World, the Jewish Values Network.
Through that having a good time? I'm flying on a red eye tonight. He's having a good time. I'm dying to wake up by your side. Hey, hey. So I jump on a feeling, my head through the ceiling. You got me believing. Come on. I've been pushed to the limit, and now I can see it. I'm enjoying every second, living out this life. Let's go! Do you believe in that? Come on. Do you believe in that? Do you? They told me that I can't do this alone, but I've been fighting, yeah, just to make it on my own. She's having fun, so I jump on a feeling, my head through the ceiling. You got me believing. Nice suit. Hey, been pushed to the limit, and now I can see it. I'm enjoying every second, living out this life. LNC Beautiful, make some noise! Do you believe in that? Oh, you guys in the back ain't clapping. Come on. Do you believe in that? Do you believe in that? Let's go! Family, value, do you believe in that? Do you believe? Make some noise if you believe in family, y'all. Make some noise.
It is therefore my honor, as co-host of tonight's dinner, along with my friend and colleague David Sterling, to bring us to the main focus of tonight's gala dinner, the presentation of awards for the inaugural International Champions of Jewish Values, which tonight will be presented to 3 distinguished individuals. Nobel Peace Prize winner Elie Wiesel, mega benefactors Sheldon and Miriam Adelson, Jewish Champions of Justice and recent recipients of the Certificate to Jerusalem, and finally, not just America's, but the world's most watched doctor, Mehmet Oz. My wife Beverly is certainly his biggest fan.
My hero, my mentor, my shining light, Elie Wiesel, who I had the privilege of hosting at the University of Oxford beginning 25 years ago, and who I affectionately call Rebbe Eliezer. Do you know what's wrong with the world today? Religious fundamentalism, where religion has become a curse rather than a blessing, where it sows division and hatred rather than harmony, where it inspires not moral courage but mortal combat, where we hear not warm words of inspiration but insightful words of hatred. And along came Elie Wiesel after the Holocaust, and he said that I, as a Jew, have a right to question God. I have a right to hold God accountable for the horrors of Jewish history, that my humanity and my mind can actually play a role, that Yisrael, he who wrestles with God, he who struggles with God,
who speaks on behalf of victims of genocide, violence, racism, and oppression all over the world. In 1986, the Norwegian Nobel Committee awarded him with the Nobel Peace Prize. He has received many other honors for his work, including the Congressional Gold Medal and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Please let us congratulate Professor Elie Wiesel, and his son, Alicia, will accept the award on his behalf.
So Rev Shmuley, don't go to my dad for financial markets advice, and don't ask me to make a speech about Jewish values. That's not the right mix. I'm just going to say thank you very much. My father is so sorry he couldn't be here tonight. He really wasn't feeling well, and I think it's important that he regain his health and have a refuah shlema. Thank you. I know he feels very honored to be on this dream team of honorees with his good friends, the Adelsons, with Dr. Oz, and really to be part of the Jewish Values Network and the Rambam Medical Facility, and really to do something with Shmuley, because my father and Shmuley have been partners in dialogue and projects for many decades, and I know they will continue to work together for years to come. So on behalf of my family and my father, thank you very much.
Sheldon and Miriam Adelson, we have a new form of Jewish philanthropy where time is celebrated above space. And never since the Rothschild family, there has not been one Jewish couple that has so dominated Jewish philanthropy and the hundreds of millions. And Sheldon and Miriam, we are so grateful to have you here this evening.
We must use our hard-earned money. We must use our academic success, our well-deserved moral standing, and our other resources to defend and protect our people. As the psalmist predicted many hundreds of years ago, Hashem oz li'amo yitain, Hashem yivorech et amo b'shalom. God will give the Jewish people oz, strength, and only if the Jewish people have strength will they be able to achieve peace. There can never be peace for the Jewish people without strength. And I think we must never, ever apologize for using our money, for using our brains, for using our positions to protect and defend our people. I want the world to know, Democrats and Republicans, Christians, Jews, and Muslims, I want the world to know I will always stand proudly with Sheldon and Miriam Adelson. And for their tireless efforts to promote Jewish identity worldwide, I am proud to present on behalf of the Jewish Values Network and Rambam Hospital the Champion of Jewish Identity Award to Dr. Miriam and Sheldon Adelson. Mazel tov.
The two of you share a phenomenal passion for Israel. Talk to us a little bit about that. Sheldon, you and Miri just became honorary citizens of Jerusalem. I was there. You both spoke about that this past Tuesday as being one of the great honors of your life. You mentioned how your father never even got to Israel. He was too poor. Your father was too poor to ever visit Israel. But here you are being made an honorary citizen of the holy city of Jerusalem, Israel's eternal capital. How did that feel? And what did you think about your father while that happened?
How did it feel? Well, it's very interesting that we're here tonight with the Jewish Values Network. I think that's what it's all about. How did I feel? My father was a very poor man, and he couldn't afford, not crying yet, he couldn't afford to go to Israel. And by the time we, his children, could afford to send him, he was too old and he was too sick. But he taught me about nobility. You know, the Jewish people don't have a monarch. There's nobody out there to take a sword and touch us on the shoulders and whack us on the head and do whatever is necessary to anoint us a sir or a lord or a count or a countess or even a hey you. There's nobody out there. So nobility to be noble, and to consider yourself part of a world of Jewish people, I believe brings out the nobility in one. It comes from the heart, it comes from the mind. If we here today don't do something to keep our family together, this family of 13.5 million people, we won't continue. And I think nobility is to be a mason, to work with stone, and to mix the cement that connects one generation of Jews to the next.
It's about the individual being important. It's about Mehmet saying to each and every one of us, your life matters. You must love your fellow man as yourself. And if you don't take care of your own health, if you don't care about your own life, how could you value someone else's life? To have Muslim lovers of the Jewish people, to have brotherhood of man, to have life being of infinite value, to have someone utilize the television medium to try to say globally, because his show airs everywhere, that human life matters. There is no one like Dr. Oz, and I know him personally, and he's the most extraordinary husband and father. And Mehmet, God willing, I hope we will have the privilege of taking you to Israel, which has been my dream all along, because the Jewish people love you. Let's get personal for a moment. When we announced that you're going to be one of our guests of honor, Mehmet, I can't tell you how many women came over to me and said to me, oh my gosh, Dr. Oz, women swoon over you. A lot of them wanted to be at your table. We had to fend and fight people off. And yet I know you as a husband, as a father, and I have to say, and there's a famous Jewish expression that words that emanate from the heart penetrate the heart, so you can't fake sincerity. I know you as maybe the most devoted husband I've come across. You honor Lisa, you listen to Lisa, you obey Lisa, you follow, it's amazing. You wouldn't be up here without Lisa. No, it's true. Lisa's shaking her head.
We read kosher sex.
I don't need him to read kosher sex, I need him to endorse kosher sex. But you really have a phenomenal respect for your wife. It's a remarkable thing. It's something that distinguishes you as a man, as a husband, and as a celebrity. As like beyond the world's most famous doctor, as an American, sex symbol. You honor and respect your wife, and I really look up to that. I'm a child of divorce. I really respect husbands. I love husbands who are in love with their wives. What is it about Lisa that you so admire?
I'll let Lisa rebut what I'm about to say, but there are many things I admire about Lisa. Part of it is her ability. When I first met her, she took me horseback riding. She grew up on a farm outside of Philadelphia, and she put me on the horse, and I couldn't ride a horse. She took me galloping through these peach fields. I get knocked off, the horse fall on my back. It hurts to fall from that height, by the way, on your back.
It's my sadistic nature.
But I would watch how she'd ride this horse. She'd squeeze the horse with her legs. She could, just by willing the horse would go in the right direction, which is basically what she's done to me, I think. In Turkish, in fact, this is probably true throughout the Islamic world, there's this concept of a kulabuk. A kulabuk, imagine the strongest, most powerful bull you could ever come to conceptualize. You have this really strong bull that could take you out, horns protruding up, and you put a ring through their nose. And when you put a ring through a bull's nose, they become as docile as a kitty cat. So my family calls me the kulabuk, which is what this is called. It's a whole word for a bull with a ring through its nose. Has its own special word in Turkish called a kulabuk. So I become a kulabuk. But I should say with great honesty that in my house the prosecution never rests.
To help those less fortunate. The qualities that we insist on in our kids are integrity, kindness, honesty, hard work, humility, same things that you talk about all the time. And sometimes they hear you telling them that these are important, sometimes they don't. As a parent, your job is to teach them by example, I think, because you can tell your kids what they should and shouldn't do till the cows come home. If you're not living that way, they're not going to listen to you. It doesn't mean anything. So living by setting an example and then letting them make mistakes and guiding them back when you can.
can just augment that for more, I actually think you have to encourage them to make mistakes. You mentioned earlier.
How do you encourage a child to make mistakes?
Well, you spoke earlier about the fact that in religion we think it's about rules, and we teach sort of the basic principles, but the word of struggle also came up. We just talked about some of those Jewish family values that we often don't think about. What we fear most is failure, which really means loss of love. You don't think people will love you if you fail, and you have to provide an atmosphere where they know they'll be loved no matter what happens. But if they don't ever fail, they really weren't putting themselves out. And if you're never taking those chances, you're never going to be able to grow. Not all these beautiful trees are going to survive. Some, unfortunately, will become uprooted. Some won't. They'll wither and die in bad weather, but they'll grow back a bit stronger if they know they're in a loving soil, and if they know they're there, and they'll become who they're supposed to be, not who you want them to be.
So you actually believe that mistakes can lead to Miriam Adelson, who was a mother in Israel and one of the great Jewish female philanthropists in the world today, one of the proudest Jews. Miri, may your Shabbos candles that you light every Friday be a symbol to Jewish women the world over, that of the woman's capacity to make the world a brighter place. God bless you, Miri. Thank you very much. Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. I want to tell you, I grew up, my mother came from very, very Orthodox family. As a matter of fact, Hasidut, Alexander in Poland, that most of them, the rabbi there, told them not to leave Poland, and most of them died in the Holocaust. However, my mother decided to come earlier, and she would light every Friday the candle. I grew up in secular school, secular environment, and I didn't light the candles till I told Rabbi Shmuley. Then I decided to continue the tradition of my mother, and with all my love, I'm continuing to light Shabbat candles, and probably till the rest of my life. So this is a big surprise, and thank you very much.
Well, look, I mean, it's almost 11:30 at night, and people are still here. And there's a lot of people speaking outside. I think people are very moved and inspired. A very moving and inspiring evening. Will the inspiration last is a question. How do you ground it? How do you get people to want to be, how do you get Jews to want to learn more about their tradition and become exponents of Jewish values? How do you get non-Jews to feel inspired by Jewish values? You know, that's the question. How do you give an evening like this longevity and permanence? And I can't answer that right now. That's the purpose of our organization. It's to take what happened tonight and make it more permanent in the media, in the culture, in families, in society. But I do believe in Jewish values with all my heart. I'm a Jew to my core. I think the Jewish people have an enormous amount to share with the world, and I think we have not yet really shared it.
Very good, Ted. The spirit of the meal is fantastic. I love spending a little time with the Adelsons, who I met tonight. It's a wonderful group of human beings. I'm friends with many of them. They've come here together because there's a spirituality that unifies them, and they realize there's more to it than just us. And when we serve, we get much more back in return.
And I was really fascinated by Shmuley's ability to bring people together. And here in New York City tonight, you saw a diverse crowd. You saw people talking about helping others. This is what Shmuley is all about, and I supported that from the very beginning. So I love it. I just love it.
I think that Judaism started with Abraham as a value system for the whole world, with values that are common to all humankind, and it's part of our role, and it has been for many years. This initiative by Rabbi Boter, by Rabbi Shmuley, is one that takes the core origins of Judaism to the entire world with its diversity, and sending out these values that go well beyond the Jewish people to all of humanity, and hopefully will bring us health, peace, and coexistence. And Israel, especially where we are, in Haifa, is really a microcosm of what coexistence can be like at its best.
The Jews have won with less than 0.2%, with 0.02% of the total world population, and we win 28% of the Nobel Prizes.
Well, I think that's the essence of life, to share values amongst the Jewish people, but also amongst all of the people. We saw today Mehmet Oz, who is a Muslim, and he explained the values, how he raises his family, and I think it's very important that we all understand that we come from one source.
Yeah, I finally sat back and relaxed and enjoyed it, and it was beautiful, and it had an incredible energy, and the room was beautiful, and people were just sitting back and enjoying, and everyone was paying attention. People were not leaving, walking out. They were all really happy to be here.